Morning everyone, so it's about 7:30 in the morning and I'm on my way to Three Sisters racetrack. I'm in the KA. We're going to do obviously what we bought this car for, which is a track day, surprise surprise. So the car currently is completely standard other than the poly-bushed rear bushes, obviously, fucking hell, and then that's basically it. So the idea of today is to get a feel for the car, see how we're getting on, see where we can make some improvements, and then over time see if your typical boy racer modifications actually work, see if they give you any performance benefit, or is it all in everyone's head. To be honest with you, the car, you can probably see there, it's misfiring a little bit. It's got a couple of little issues, so it's got that little misfire I'm telling you about now, although that does seem to ease off as you further up the rev range, so I'm hoping I can drive through that today. And then the only other issue is I think the front lower arms, basically the wishbones, the bushes on them are fucked and all, so it could really do with either new arms or bushes, depends really, and that's where we're at. So we'll see how we get on today. Like I say, we'll report back, and yeah, then we'll start making some modifications. So I'll see you a bit later in the day. Right, so I'm driving up to the pit lane now. I've already had one session out, so this is actually my second session. I didn't film the first one. I'm just going to let it film the entire way through, see what happens. So I've learnt that I'm probably in the lowest power and slowest car, but it's not all necessarily down to that. So there was someone who was very nervous on track and we've all lapped them, and they were in an M4, which is fine. Obviously everyone's driving within their own limits. I was first on the track last time, now I'm number 2, so I'm going to get overtaken by pretty much everyone behind me, but we're not worried. So a couple of the other cars that are out with us, we've got this Citroen C2 in front. He's got semi-slicks on, and obviously he's done a few bits, he's got a bucket seat, things like that, so he's relatively quick. Behind us we've got some sort of, I think it's a Volkswagen Up. He's a little bit quicker than me. Then we've got 2 M4s. The white M4 is pretty quick, the blue M4 not so much, but again they're driving within the limits, you know what I mean. There's I'm certainly not taking the mick. And then a few other cars in the group. I think there's a VX 220 Turbo, he's pretty nifty, and yeah, a few other things. I'm sure we'll see most of them as they all overtake me on the straights. So general rules: there's no overtaking on bends. It's a track day, not a race. We're driving within our limits. There's a little bit of rain just starting to come down, so I'm anticipating we're not really going to get around the corners all that quick. Remember, this is a Ford KA, front wheel drive, and it's relatively useless if we're being honest. And away we go. So the first lap, I'm probably going to take it a little bit easy, warm up the touch. I don't know if you can see these yellow cones here. The yellow cones on the outside is when you're supposed to start turning in, and the yellow cone on the inside is supposed to be your apex. Now the marshals are all stood out with the yellow flags. I think that's because it's the first lap. And we're all supposed to be taking our time. There's people flying around here already trying to overtake me, which I don't really see the point. Just let this guy pass. Away we go. Overtake. Move over for him. Now we'll try and hang on to him. And it's modified. It's got semi-slick top. Can't get one book about it. And that's the checker flag. So we're going to use this as a cool down lap. And there we go. So I'll just take you through these cones. So that's not a braking cone, that's a turn-in cone. And there's your apex. And then there's nowhere to aim on the way out. You just work it out yourself. So again, you have to start braking, ready to turn in on the cone. And then we hit the apex, come round, hit this apex, come round, hit this apex, washes us out, lines us up, turning on this one. And this is a funny one. Stay over, turn in, and we aim for this one, and then cut back in again. And then similar, try and make this all one again. So we get to here. See the marshal, turn in. So we're heading back out now for session number 3. Got talking to some of the other lads in the group. This lad in front, this is his first track day as well. It's a 1 litre up. I don't know all that about ups. I don't know if that's a fast one, if that's a bog standard one, if you only come with one engine. Feel free to tell me. I'll probably have already googled it beforehand anyway. No, he's letting his mate drive, so the other lad's not too bad of a driver, but this lad says he's dead nervous, he's not confident in himself. But who knows, maybe he's bluffing, maybe he's playing it down a bit. This lad here in the M4, he's a nice lad as well. Been talking to him. This is his second ever track day, and he's got another one booked in 2 days time at Ulton Park with instructors and stuff. So he's taking it relatively seriously overall, although his demeanour's pretty relaxed. Like I say, he's a nice enough chap. And who else have we got? We've got the guy over in the blue M4, and he's extremely nervous. He's been black flagged because he can't make sense of the flag, unfortunately. He keeps forgetting what's what. So he's made the decision to book an instructor to go around with him to help him understand the flags. So with a bit of a mix of, I guess, experience on track, but just experience of today. Some people taking different things from it. There appears to be a Caterham or Westfield or one of them things, the open wheel type cars behind us, joining us today. They're on this third session. The red Citroen C2 is making its way around as well. Again, he's pretty nifty, so no doubt we'll be letting him past. So the car, how's the car holding up? Well, it's roughly 10 miles per session I'm finding. So even though I'm abusing it, I'm hitting the red line left, right and centre. We're braking really heavy because it's 15 minutes on and then half an hour between sessions. It's holding up, it's doing well. So as we move out, we'll give him a bit of space. Here we go. Brakes are a bit, they definitely need warming up. The tyres also definitely need warming up. So this warm-up session, warm-up lap rather, is important, really important. Last time I overcooked it here on the first lap and I run straight onto them rumble strips. The brakes aren't filling me with confidence this time round, so I might just watch that as we progress. He's holding his flag out, and we'll probably all come in to get round to the straight. Final corner coming up. through, not actually that much quicker. Westfield is actually holding me up, which I'm not bothered, it's not a race. I've got an instructor with him, so no doubt he'll be moving on shortly. Through. So thank you. And we're done. That's the check checkered flag. We fended off the VX220, which is right behind me now. Well, not right behind me, but behind me enough. The white M4 is behind me. I think we drove well. The C2 I don't think lapped me, then obviously overtook me right at the beginning. So I think we're improving, and the car is, the tyres are starting to let go. Now I don't know if that's because the tyres have degraded or because I'm pushing them harder, and I would probably think it's a combination of the two. And I believe that's going to be our last session before the dinner break. I'm relatively happy with the progress. I feel like I'm making progress. I'm learning the track certainly. I'm happy enough with the car. It's doing well. It's doing well. Right then, so that's 3 sessions out of the way. Like I say, first session I didn't film, but there weren't really an whole lot for it to see. It's my first time on the track. I'm getting used to, you know, the various things. How does the car brake and go around corners and whatever. Second one was alright, I was confident. And third one I was really confident, as you've seen. I'm overtaking wet fields and stuff like that. Again, it's not a race, is it? So take it for what it's worth. But yeah, I'm building confidence. It's been sunny all morning, but as I'm assuming you can see and probably hear, since I'm having shout, it's now pissing down really heavily. So things could get interesting this afternoon. And in fact, it's coming down that heavy. I'm not sure it's not going to get called off. It's like a monsoon. I got caught in it just grabbing some dinner, and I'm piss wet, and I must have only been out in it 10 seconds, like a drowned rat. So let's see how the day progresses. But like I say, overall, let's talk about the car. So power, it's definitely not really got enough power, but for day one, alright, help, it's clearing up. Right, but for day one, it'll do. Handling, the handling's actually not too bad. I feel like it definitely will benefit from a set of tyres. Some of these boys here are running semi-slick tyres, running, bloody hell, I've only gone and said running. Some of these many have got semi-slicks on, and one guy that I've been talking to, an MR2, he's got full slicks on the back of his MR2, and I'm here with some Hancocks on that are probably 15-year-old. So lesson learned there really, is tyres obviously are massively important. I mean, we all know that anyway, but I really feel like that's the biggest hurdle, and probably the most beneficial modification I can make is going to be some semi-slicks. So then let's think about handling. Handling's actually not that bad. So back at the garage I've got some springs for this, some lowering springs. I think that'll be enough. I don't think I need to go chasing down coilovers and stuff. I think the springs will be fine. Power, you definitely could do with more power, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to blow my brains out trying to eat every last brake horsepower out of this engine. By the time I'm chasing more power, I'll just change the car, I think. So that's that. And I think overall, as is always the case with track cars, I think stripping all the weight out of it will benefit everything. Less weight means more performance in a straight line, easier for handling, less weight obviously, and better for braking. So I do think ripping all the interior out is also going to be the way to go. And that's that really. There's not a lot more to say, but we're having a giggle. We've got talking to most of the lads now in our session, and everyone's pretty nice lads, so that's it. I'm going to go now because I'm sure it's almost impossible to hear me. I'll keep you updated throughout the day. See you in a bit. So we're heading round for what I believe is session number 4. As you can see, the rain has stopped, but we'd stopped for lunch or dinner as we call it around here, and yeah, this is the first session since the rain, so we're going out on a piss wet track, and by the looks of things I'm first in queue again, which means I'm going to hit all the standing water. I don't mind, I'll happily let people go through, not really bothered. Let's take it nice and easy. What does it feel like in the rain? Honestly, not too dissimilar. So that's really wet on entry. There we go, look at that right on the apex, that's wet. That's not too bad. This stretch is nice. This is dry on the inside. Now that catches you out anyway. The back end's been switching around there, and now it's piss wet through. So I'm not looking forward to that. And this is all quite nice. It's not too bad. Apparently this bit is a nightmare in the rain. You can see why. So it's quite dry. We'll come down here. That is quite wet. Turn in. That's our way. For some reason we've still got yellow flags out. C2 past, which seems to be quite quick. She always appears to be quick, but you might learn off him. Where he's braking, what line he's taking. He's mostly taking the same lines I took. second VX220 because he crashed the first one in the rain. And that's the checkered flag. And I feel like that was a short stint. I think they've waved us off there. Maybe I'm mistaken. So we're moving out again. I don't think I'm going to learn a lot this time. The track is still wetter than this morning, but drier than the last session. I think we're just going around in circles now, to be honest. I think I've pretty much learned what I'm going to learn for a day. So let's see. So if anyone's interested, I've used half a tank of fuel so far. It's about a £40 tank, so therefore I've used about 20 quid's worth of juice. There's about 10 miles per session, give or take. I think I've done either 4 or 5 sessions, I can't remember now. that's it. Another checker flag. Around we go. So we're off again for another go. That sleek is being pushed. I wonder what's wrong with that. We're going back out for another session. Now I'm not 100% sure if this is our last session. I feel like we've got this and another, but I might be wrong. This might be the last. So we're lining up. So now our friend in the M4 has gone home. He's calling it a day. As of quite a lot of people. So there is me, the Up, and the VX220. I believe the yellow Caterham is still playing, or Westfield or whatever it is. I don't know anything about that car. Might go and have a nosy when we're finished, see what engine's in it. I started feeling a little bit dicky towards the end of the last session. So I've had a drink of water, trying to settle myself. I'm feeling a bit off, so I don't know how we're going to perform here. I might take it easy. However, the track looks a lot drier, the sun is out. I have a feeling that I will not be taking it easy whatsoever. The Citroen C2 is now pulled up, and I think that's going to be it. I think we're down to 5 cars. Flags are out. Young one here is coming across. We'll let him go on the straight. That's the VX220. We'll just let him go. great when you can have an instructor, but never mind. end of that session. And here comes the rain again. And I'm starting to feel a little bit funny. I feel like I'm fighting off food poisoning, I'll be perfectly honest with you. So I might call it a day, or I might do the last session. I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll pull into what has become our pits. Right, so I decided not to do that last session. I was proper feeling sick, and I didn't feel like my concentration was there 100%. So I swerved it, I gave it a miss, and I'm glad I did, because on the last lap of the last session, one of the lads I've been talking to all day in an up had a pretty big off. So what happened basically was, the car in front of him had a kill switch inside his car, and he accidentally hit the kill switch with his knee, which made his car cut out right on the apex of a bend. So the lad in the up, I didn't get anyone's name, sorry if you end up watching this video, but the lad in the up ended up, he could either clatter straight in the back of the Celica, or he could try and swerve it. Now it all happened that quick that the marshals didn't even get to wave the flag to warn him sort of what was going on. So he was coming full chat at this at the back of this Celica, so he swerved to avoid hitting it, and one thing led to another, and obviously he's gone smack bang wallop into the tyre wall. Now, all things considered, he's not done that much damage. He's messed up the wing, bent the bonnet a little bit, I think, cracked the headlight mounting points, even though the lens is okay, and the bumper's obviously a mess, and the inner wing and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit of a mess, but he will get home. We've zip tied it up and, you know, smacked it a bit, this and the other, get him home. And obviously the most important thing is everyone's alright. So with that in mind, that was the only real off anyone that we've had in our little group has had. Obviously the guy in the VX220, he spun in front of us, which I've got on video, and there was another bloke in the like advanced group, and he was in, I don't know what it was, he's based on a Volkswagen Beetle, but it's got an Alfa Romeo engine in it, and it looks like a dune bug. Anyway, it's a pretty serious piece of kit, and he come off early doors, and that was it. There was no other real incidents, racing incidents, or whatever you want to call them, throughout the day. So for me, I would say pretty good day. Then front arms need sorting, like I said, it's all over its shop, but the car's performed really well. I think I was reaching the end of its limits by the end of the day. I was reaching my own, so that's okay. It needs a little rest, let everything cool down. The tyres were getting a bit warm, the brakes were getting a bit warm. I think the gearbox was starting to feel it, but all in all, really good. We're happy. So a few mods for the next before the next session, and I'm sure we'll be putting in slightly quicker times. Now what was interesting is there was a couple of cars there that were quick, real quick cars. One was a C2, so I've just got talking to him as we're leaving. It turned out his is a 1.6 turbo diesel. He's remapped it. What else has he done? Brake, suspension, semi-slick tyres, stripped out, bucket seats, all that sort of stuff. So it's a nice piece of kit. And now he was just a bit quicker than us. I couldn't really keep up with him. The up was a standard 75 brake horsepower version, but he's got big wheels and tyres on it. He stripped out the back and that, and we were probably a similar pace, I would say. The VX220 was a turbo. It had semi-slicks on, coilovers, AP racing brakes all over the place. That was not as quick as I expected, to be honest, but he's by no means am I slagging the car off or the driver or anything like that. You know, the guy was super friendly, really nice guy, but it was his first ever track day, so I feel like he was probably holding back, to be fair, and I would do exactly the same thing in that car, especially after seeing how it span. It was a bit of an handful, so you know, I don't blame the guy for holding back a little bit. What else was in our sessions? The M4, obviously the lads paid 30 odd grand for his M4. You don't want to bin it on a little track day where he's racing £500 bangers like this, so that's understandable. You know, he was a bit quicker than us, but again, much more precious cargo, I suppose, so it's to be expected, isn't it? What else was on with us? There was an MX-5 that was pretty handy car. He seemed to be quick, and also the driver seemed to know what he was doing, so he moved up. And then there was a Mini that is a similar story basically. It's a modified Mini. It had plenty power. I'm pretty sure it was a Cooper S. Plenty power. It was modified and that, and the driver's pretty handy. And all his family were there, his dad and everyone, and they all had cars that they towed in and things like that. So again, to be expected that he was actually a quick car, and he ended up moving on. So by the end of the day, our session went from having about probably 10-12 cars all the way down to having 4 or 5 right at the end. So you know, something I wasn't expecting, but I really enjoyed that. We ended up having loads of space on the track by the end of it. So yeah, learned plenty, a lot of stuff I wasn't expecting, but overall the day was really positive. I'm dead happy with how I got on with my car and stuff. A couple of people obviously have had an unfortunate experience, but what are you going to do? That's it. So on to the next one. See ya in the next video.